We're up to page 232, Halacha Yomi, Halacha 119. Someone who already heard Kiddush can say Kiddush for other people who did not hear it on their behalf. This is called Israel Aravim Arevim. We're all guarantors one another, Arvut, and therefore your obligation is also my obligation. So therefore I can also do it for you. This is what Maran writes in Resh Ayin Rima. Okay, therefore, although a man fulfills the obligation of saying Kiddush when he says Arvit, nevertheless he can say Kiddush on behalf of a woman who has not prayed, right? Because the Oraita you fulfilled by praying. Your wife was obligated the Oraita also to say Kiddush. So you came home, you only Chayam in the Rabbanan, you can fulfill her Kiddush. Yes, you can fulfill her obligation for Kiddush. Similarly, a woman who did pray Arvit can say Kiddush on behalf of a man who did not pray Arvit. Let's say a guy's sick, right? The guy's sick, he didn't pray Arvit, and she wants to say Kiddush. She's going to come to the table, she's going to say Kiddush, and nobody else is there except for the family members, so it's not a tznius issue. And then she'll say Kiddush even though she did pray Arvit. 120. One may recite Kiddush on behalf of somebody else, even if that one person, if the person saying Kiddush already said Kiddush for himself, or he does not fulfill and intending his own obligation through this recitation. So let's say a guy says Kiddush, Reuven says Kiddush for Shimon, even though Reuven said Kiddush already. Or Reuven says Kiddush for Shimon, even though Reuven doesn't want to fulfill Kiddush right now. Like, I have no intention of doing Kiddush. I'm going to do Kiddush much later. I don't need to do Kiddush right now. But he can't say it, so I'm going to say it for him, right? Furthermore, one may say Kiddush for another person, even if the person listening knows how to say Kiddush for himself. Okay, here's an interesting halacha. What about someone who doesn't know how to read? Doesn't know Hebrew? So, footnote 173, Resh Ayin Gimel, Sif Dalet says that one can only recite Kiddush on behalf of somebody who knows if that person doesn't know how to read, and the person reciting Kiddush intends on fulfilling his obligation as well. But the Chazon Ovadia says that the custom is to allow you to say Kiddush for somebody who knows how to read. Maybe because you could say it, so do Kiddush yourself. Why am I making Kiddush for you? No, because the custom is that we could do it for you. But now, when someone doesn't know how to read, that's one thing, right? That is easier to do Shomea Keoneh when he knows how to and he knows Hebrew but doesn't know how to read. But if he doesn't know Hebrew at all, so there, according to Shulchan Aruch, Shomea Keoneh doesn't work. Over there, it's better that the person should say it himself, even though he doesn't understand Hebrew. You always fulfill the mitzvah if you say the bracha, even though you don't understand what it means. But according to Rashi and other Rishonim say no. If you fulfill, even if the other guy doesn't understand, so it's not a chachila for somebody who doesn't understand Hebrew to have somebody else say Kiddush for him. Preferably he should say his own Kiddush, but again, he has what to rely on. Okay, however, it is preferable that, back at the 120, however, it is preferable that one who knows how to recite Kiddush for himself should recite it on his own, and not rely on Kiddush to somebody else who already fulfilled or does not intend to fulfill his obligation through the recitation. 121. This is the day 33, I think, of Halacha Yomi, Baruch Hashem. We're on page 233. So, Halacha 121. One who is reciting Kiddush on behalf of somebody else, but does not intend on eating his meal along with the person who is reciting, who needs the Kiddush, he may recite Bracha V'Gefen. But he should not drink from the cup. Rather, the person listening should drink from the cup. So you have a guy saying Kiddush, Reuven saying Kiddush for Shimon, right? And Shimon's going to have his meal now. But Reuven's not. Reuven's going to just give Kiddush and he's out. He's not going to be doing the meal right now. He's allowed to say a Gefen, but he shouldn't drink the cup. Interesting. I'll say a Gefen, and you're going to drink. This Gefen is going to be for you, and I'm not going to drink. How does that work? Just like I already said Kiddush. Let's say I can say Kiddush for you, right? And I'll say Dechovah for you. So too, I say a Gefen, and the bracha's for you. The Gefen's for you, even though I don't need the Gefen because I'm not going to drink. Rather, the person listening should drink from the cup. Alternatively, he may drink from the wine if he drinks at least a revi'it from the cup, even though he'll not be having his meal along with that person listening. Because Reuven's problem is he needs Kiddush Mekom Seudah. To drink and eat right now, he needs the Kiddush Mekom Seudah. He's not going to have a Seudah right now. He doesn't have mezonot, nothing. So what is he going to do? How can he drink? You can't just drink a Kiddush and not do Kiddush Mekom Seudah. So therefore, Shimon's going to have a meal, so let him drink. Or I could drink and I'll make sure to drink a revi'it from the cup. That way that revi'it will be Kiddush Mekom Seudah. So that way I have to fulfill it somehow. Okay. So Halacha Brura over here in the footnote 175 says, usually, let's say me and you both have the same mezonot, right? So it makes sense. I could say mezonot, you say amen, and we both eat because Shomek Yoneh, I'm eating, you're eating. But let's say you're eating, and you say, Rabbi, please, you say for us, right? You say mezonot for me, and I'll eat, but you won't eat. You just hold the food, say mezonot, and pass it to me. That doesn't count. You can't do that. So why by Kiddush you could? Since Arvut connects me and you, guarantors one for the other for the mitzvah Kiddush, so the Hagefen goes along with it. Because the Kiddush obligation goes, so the Hagefen also goes. But Stam in a regular food doesn't work like that. 122. One person should recite Kiddush on behalf of everyone present. Right? Let's say you have a lot of people together. It's better to have more people together. They all make man bracha and they pay attention. If it's hard to pay attention, or let's say the guy who says the blessings, he says, Buchta mechala. He doesn't say Baruch Atah. He says, Buchta. Mechala. What's mechala? It's mechala. Right? What is mechala? It's Elokeinu melech haolam. What? What does that mean? Say hagefen. So therefore, it says, I don't know what he's saying, so it's better that everybody should say their own Kiddush. Right? And sometimes you don't hear him, he speaks very low. You don't even hear the Baruch, you hear nothing. So it's such a situation. Or let's say the person's not even having you in mind. He doesn't know what Shomek Yoneh is. He doesn't know there's a concept, I have to have you in mind, you have to have me in mind. So better in those situations that everybody says their own Kiddush. 123, even a child who will reach the age of Chinuch, about 5 or 6 years old, cannot fulfill the obligation of Kiddush of a person who's above Bar Mitzvah. Right? So you have Bobo, who's 80 years old, and he's tired and he doesn't want to say Kiddush, he can't say Kiddush. So he who's with him, his grandson. He says, Ariel, this or that. And Ariel's 5 years old, 6 years old. He says, Ariel, Chavo, you're going to say Kiddush for Bobo, Johnny Bobosh. So he goes and he says, okay, I'll say Kiddush. So then Rafal comes home and he says, listen, hey, you can't fulfill the mitzvah like this. He's underage. And you're above bar mitzvah. It doesn't go. One doesn't connect for the other. You can't do that, right? This is the case even if the person who the child is saying Kiddush for already prayed Arvit, and the person only has an obligation derabanan to make Kiddush on wine because he already prayed Arvit, did the Oraita. Still, even that derabanan he cannot fulfill with the child because the child's obligation only comes from Chinuch. It's not a real obligation rabbinically like a regular Kiddush, and therefore it's not a personal obligation of the child, and he cannot fulfill it for somebody else. But if he's bar mitzvah, obviously it works. Obviously it counts. Okay, good. A child who will turn bar mitzvah on Shabbat and accept Shabbat early cannot recite Kiddush until nightfall. You have to have mom, it should be bar mitzvah. 125. Even though a child only has to hear Kiddush because of Chinuch, one may recite Kiddush for a child even someone else's kid, even though you fulfilled your mitzvah of Kiddush already. Let's say your son and his friends came over late. They missed Kiddush. Where were you guys? Oh, we were playing in the neighbor's house. We forgot that you did Kiddush at 11. We came at 11:30. Okay, so say Kiddush. I don't know, Abba. Can you say Kiddush for us? Yeah, even though they're underage and they're only obligated because of Chinuch, I can say Kiddush again for them. In such a case, the child knows how to say his own Kiddush, he should say himself, but he can't, so he can say it for him and his friends. Even though those kids are not my kids, I can say Kiddush for them as well. 126. One who did not yet accept Shabbat may recite Kiddush on behalf of someone who accepted Shabbat early. 127. It's preferable that a convert should not recite Kiddush on behalf of others. Why? Why is that? 182. There are several poskim such as the Chida and Pri Megadim who say they're unsure if a convert can be Yotzei D'Chovah Shomek Yoneh. Because this they have Arvut, Am Yisrael Zeh Lezeh, guarantors one for another. The convert came later. He wasn't at Har Sinai. Or maybe their Mazal was at Har Sinai, but they weren't themselves. They weren't at Har Sinai, right? So maybe they don't have Arvut. But it's Mahloket, right? And Yekut Yosef says, strictly speaking, there are those who permit this. You may rely on those opinions when there's no other options. Nevertheless, one should be stringent when possible and get someone else to say Kiddush if possible. Okay, nice. 128. One should not fulfill his obligation to hear Kiddush through the recitation of a person who openly desecrates the Shabbat. Okay, so Bobo, we give you kavod, do Kiddush. Well, preferably should because Bobo drives and breaks Shabbat openly in Shabbat, so it's not right. Now, obviously, it's good that he says Kiddush, but not to fulfill our obligation, right? If one is in a situation where he has no other choice than to hear the Kiddush of such a person, one should stare at the cup of wine that he's holding and whisper the Kiddush along with him. 129. Even if a Sephardi is hearing Kiddush for is saying Kiddush for Ashkenazi, he may not change his pronunciation. Right? You cannot say Buruch. You have to say like a Sephardi, Borei Priya Gefen, and he fulfills the mitzvah as well. Especially when saying Hashem's name, right? It's Ado and then Nai, not Amunai or other pronunciation, or Amunoi, Noi they say, right? Nai, it's Nai, Amonai, not Amunoi. Okay, it's important to pay attention to this when you're saying the Kiddush. 130, when you're saying Kiddush on behalf of others, if they are not yet observant, you should remind those to cover their head with a kippah, at least a sleeve. 131, when we're saying Kiddush for others, a woman are present. When they're not dressed modestly, one should either keep one's eyes on the Kiddush or only read from the Siddur, like this, right? Because you're not allowed to say a blessing in front of nakedness. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.